Good morning. We are going to begin talking about inverse functions, and this little guy, this Sneech, is going to help us understand what an inverse function is. So I don't know if you remember the Sneeches story from Dr. Seuss, but in case you don't, I'm going to read it to you. Now, the star-belly Sneeches had bellies with stars. The plain-belly Sneeches had none upon theirs. Those stars weren't so big. They were really so small you might think such a thing wouldn't matter at all. But because they had stars, all the star-belly Sneeches would brag we're the best kind of Sneech on the beaches. With their snoots in the air they would sniff and they'd snort. We'll have nothing to do with the plain-belly sort. And whenever they met someone they were out walking, they'd hike right on past them without even talking. When the star-belly children went out to play ball, could a plain belly get in the game? Not at all. You could only play if your bellies had stars, and the plain belly children had none upon theirs. When the star-belly Sneeches had frankfurter roasts, or picnics, or parties, or marshmallow toasts, they never invited the plain-belly Sneeches. They left them out cold in the dark of the beaches. They kept them away, never let them come near, and that's how they treated them year after year. Then one day, it seems, while the plain-belly Sneeches were moping and doping alone on the beaches, just sitting there wishing their bellies had stars, a stranger zipped up in the strangest of cars. "My friends," he announced in a voice clear and keen, "my name is Sylvester McMonkey McBean, and I've heard of your troubles. I've heard you're unhappy, but I can fix that. I'm the fix-it-up chappie. I've come here to help you. I have what you need, and my prices are low, and I work at great speed, and my work is 100% guaranteed." Then quickly Sylvester McMonkey McBean put together a very peculiar machine, and he said, "You want stars like a star-belly Sneech? My friends, you can have them for $3 each. Just pay me your money and hop right aboard." So they clambered inside, and the big machine roared, and it clonked, and it bonked, and it jerked, and it burked, and it bopped them about, but the thing really worked. When the plain-belly Sneeches popped out, they had stars. They actually did. They had stars upon theirs. Then they yelled at the ones who had stars at the start, "We're exactly like you. You can't tell us apart. We're all just the same now, you snooty old smarties, and now we can go to your frankfurter parties." "Good grief," groaned the ones who had stars at the first. "We're still the best Sneeches, and they are the worst. But now how in the world will we know," they all frowned, "if which kind is what, or the other way round?" Then up came McBean with a very sly wink, and he said, "Things are not quite so bad as you think. So you don't know who's who. That's perfectly true. But come with me, friends. Do you know what I'll do? I'll make you again the best Sneeches on beaches, and all it will cost you is $10 eaches." "Belly stars are no longer in style," said McBean. "What you need is a trip through my star-off machine. This wondrous contraption will take off your stars, so you won't look like Sneeches who have them on theirs." And that handy machine worked very precisely, removing the stars from their bellies quite nicely. Then with snoots in the air they paraded about, and they opened their beaks and they let out a shout. "We know who is who, it isn't a doubt. The best kind of Sneeches are Sneeches without." Then, of course, those with stars all got frightfully mad. To be wearing a star now was frightfully bad. Then, of course, old Sylvester McMonkey McBean invited them into his star-off machine. Then, of course, from then on, as you probably guessed, things really got into a horrible mess. So, then the story goes on, but the star-off machine is an example of an inverse function because the star-on machine put the star on, and then the star-off machine took the star off, and they emerged from the second machine as they were before they had gone into either one. So the input went into the first machine and came out with a star, and then that Sneech went into the star-off machine and came out without a star as they had been at the beginning. So that is an inverse function. Sneeches! Who knew?